Hey guys, welcome to the Unchained beta with the TheProfesserf. Alright, it's time for our Monday Mythic meta for the ranked weekend event that ran on December 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Let's take a look at our results. Here's a list of our top players from this weekend. We see one player with 24 wins out of 25, very close to a perfect run here. And then we have the rest of the top 10 almost with 23 wins all the way to 9th place here. A very competitive weekend. And then we have several players tied with 22 wins, fighting it out for the last 10th spot. These are the unofficial results, so it remains to be seen when the official results are published who gets the 10th spot. Let's go into more details. In our top 20, we can see that 9 players played War. We have 3 players each that played Light and Death. 2 players each played Deception and Magic. And 1 player in the top 20 played Nature. For our top 10, Death took 1st and 10th place. War took 2nd, 4th, 6th, and 8th place. Magic took 3rd place. Deception took 5th place. And Light took 7th and 9th. For our decks with the most wins, we can see that it's Death with 24 wins. And we have the rest of the gods here with 23 wins. War, Magic, Light, and Deception. And in the best nature deck, managed 22 wins. Looking at our deck types, we can see that aggro is losing ground here, with 12 players in the top 20 playing aggro, and an uptick here in control, with 7 players in the top 20 playing control. We do have 1 player that played a mid-range deck. Let's look at our top decks in more detail. Our top death deck managed 24 wins. This one's a control death deck with the Blood Ritual God Power. This deck tops out at 7 mana with 2 copies of Apocalypse Now and 2 copies of Demogorgon. The main purpose of this deck is to go into fatigue and mill your opponent out of cards. You have lots of card draws with Sulfuric Rain, Burrowing Scarab, Ruined Asp, Vrock, and the Wind-Up Roller. Of course, you have removals and stalls to get you there. Blight Bomb, Siren of the Grave, Eva, Baroness of the Dead, Reap, Apocalypse Now, and some stalling with Demogorgon. And you have your usual Canopic Hoarder to activate the Afterlife multiple times. Our best war deck managed 23 wins. This one's a control war deck with Valka's Presence God Power. The purpose of this deck is to make it to the end game where you have your value cards like Hector, Strength in Numbers, Avatar of War, and Demogorgon. To get to the end game, you have lots of removal and control cards like Auric Rush, Avalanche Strike, Enduring Shield, Magic Missile Launcher, Carnage Sweep, Hyenas, and you have plenty of frontline with Pyramid Warden, Guild Enforcer, and the Grand Hall. Our top Magic deck managed 23 wins. This one's an aggro Magic deck using the Mage Bolt God Power. This deck is unique in that it runs all Magic cards, no neutral cards at all. You have your usual low curve cards like Ancient Text, Assistant Alchemist, Shadow Scryer, Street Conjurer, Demetrios. You have removals with Star Shard Bolt, Tracking Bolt, Defend the Ramparts. This deck specializes in card draw. You have Palace's Wand, Vortimer the Volatile, All-Seeing Spire. You have cards that can gain you value with Miraculous Familiar. And then you have your top end of Wormbreath, Monolith of Storms, and Epiphany. Our best Deception deck was a mid-range build using Orpheus Distraction. We're calling this mid-range due to it running 2 copies of Rapture Dance for board control, a copy of the Spiral Golem for random attacks on the enemy creatures, and a copy of Helia the Illuminator to buff your board and also wake your creatures up if they have sleep. You have the strong early Deception cards with Orfeo, Switch Duelist, Hunting Trap, Mugging, Avatar of Deception, and Shadewalker. You complement those cards with the Atlantean package. You have 2 copies of the Arcane Sphere, Dwarf Atlant, Face Touch Golem, and the Boost Walker. Our best light deck managed 23 wins. This one's a Zoo aggro light deck with the Summon Acolyte God Power. The deck tops out at 6 mana with Asterius and Lysander. You have your strong light cards like Blind Martyr, Empyrean Pacifist, Ritual Rod, Olympian Guard, Bright Mage, Light's Levy, Radiant Dawn. You have mid-game cards that are really strong like Highborn Knight, Master of Indulgence, Encern, and Canonize. A nice addition, coinciding with the recent change, is the Mneosian Infiltrator. This one is able to debuff an enemy creature, lowering its health to match its strength. So if you have a 2/6 Pyramid Warden on the board, and you play Mneosian Infiltrator, your opponent's Pyramid Warden becomes a 2/2, easier to deal with. Our best nature deck is an aggro nature deck with the Animal Bond God Power. You have a strong early game here from nature with Chiron, Black Jaguar, Canopy Barrage, Finian Fruitbearer, Underbrush Boar, and Lightning Strike. You follow it up with big statted creatures like Rabid Bear, Mooncrest Cyclops, Overgrown Rhino, Starving Sabertooth, and the Brazen Moose. You have strong nature cards like Jaguar Staff, and this one tops out at 6 mana with 2 copies of Sudden Bloom to give a friendly creature +5/+5 with additional bonuses if you are frenzied, and 1 copy of Ironclad Minotaur in case your creatures are sleeping. Taking a look at our weekend meta snapshot at the Mythic level, we can see that Death had the highest win rate at 52% and a fairly good representation at 12%. War also had a positive win rate of 51%, and the second most represented god at 25%. Light has moved up now with a close to 50% win rate and more representation, almost at 10% here. Magic remains popular at 14% and has a 49% win rate. Nature has moved down a little bit, not as popular, but still at 29%, and the win rate has gone down slightly. At the bottom, we have Deception, lowest representation at 8% and the lowest win rate. Updating our top 10 scoreboard for the weekend ranked with last weekend's result, we can see Copper Pitch moving up 2 places here from 9th all the way up to 7th. We have Sam Bam also moving up 2 places, now in the 15th position. We have 2 new entries into the top 30 with Nanchan coming in at 22nd place and Roy D. Walker moving up to the 26th position. All right, so here's a list of our top players again. Congratulations on a great performance and a very competitive weekend. Good luck on your prizes when you receive them later this week.